All right, everybody, welcome back. I got a nice surprise today. But before we get into it, hit the like and subscribe button. Check out my playlist. There's actually a Masters of the Universe, playlist that has all my Motu pictures of origins, a lot of stuff, a lot of cool stuff that you guys would like. But yeah, today I had a nice surprise. I was kind of scrolling through Facebook, the Motu groups, and somebody said their Ground Ripper and Mekaneck showed up from Big Bad Toy Store, and I figured I'll just check the status of mine, check the tracking, see exactly where it was at because I knew it was coming. And it had been out on my front steps since 7 a.m. It was like 2 in the afternoon, and the tracking said it was dropped off at 7 a.m. And I had left the house too, which is kind of funny. But yep, still there, and very nice surprise. So yeah, we got him in front of the camera. There's not much to the card art on the front. We got Castle Grayskull in the back, and then Mekaneck on the Ground Ripper. Let's look at the backside real quick. So we do have a little bit of card art with, we know King Hiss is on the way. Lasher, I haven't heard anything about him being on the way, but he can't be too far behind. And then, of course, the Eternia set, kind of hidden back there behind the canyon. I did not get it. I was kind of gung-ho about getting it. I was hoping it would be, 400, 450 the absolute most. And it'll be in $550, not with shipping. Now I think there's another $50 fee or something. So it ends up being like $550 by the time you're done. And that was it's just too much for me. Plus the thing is like massive. So where exactly would I store it? I don't even know. It'd probably be in a box most of its life. So I just kind of passed on it. Who knows what the future will bring. But yeah, at this point in time, we will not have Eternia, even though it's an amazing piece. But yeah, cool canyon setup, with Mekaneck, looking over at the Snake Men and the Ground Ripper sitting there. Which, by the way, I'll always know as a Road Ripper. I'm trying to be respectful to the name change. Like, they name changed it because of some legal reasons where they couldn't call it Road Ripper anymore. Now it's called a Ground Ripper, which just doesn't sound right to me. But yeah, we have some instructions in the back on how to put the neck extension on, how to swap out the head of the Ground Ripper, and then this wave, the most recent wave, what is it, 10 maybe 9 or 10, with the Snake Men that I already reviewed, and then Boltman and Snake Armor He-Man. I may end up getting Snake Armor He-Man sooner than later. Somebody else had him on Facebook, and he does look really cool just for kind of a He-Man gimmick. So, but anyways, let's take it out of the box, get a closer look at him. So yeah, here we are. We have Mekaneck and Road Ripper out of the package. Mekaneck, it looks exactly like he should. It's weird. He was one of my favorite characters growing up, and he was a very, this plastic, it's so different having a soft plastic for these figures, especially their chest pieces. The armor and stuff is way softer than the original figures. It was a very hard, wasn't brittle, it didn't break, but it was a very hard glossy plastic. And this is it's more dull, and like I said, it's soft. And then Mekaneck back then had the action feature where you twisted the waist and his head popped out. And I've talked about in other videos that I'm not a fan of the action features. Like, it's fine, whatever. It's the way that they made the old ones. I get it that people want accurate to the vintage figures. But even as a kid, having to twist his waist to extend his head, and if you wanted his head to stay up, you always had to keep his waist twisted. There was no way for it to just stay up on its own permanently or whatever. So in my opinion, this is a very much welcome change. But like I said, a lot of other people do not agree with me on that. And I like the fact that you can pose pretty easy. His neck doesn't have to be straight up and down with this new one. I got it tilted and his head tilted on it just to show you guys the articulation. They did a pretty good job with this figure, in my opinion. So, yeah, and he comes with this classic club. I don't know if there's any significance to him coming with Road Ripper himself. If that was his vehicle in the show, but whatever, it's who he came with. But then, we get on to Road Ripper, and he looks great. Like, I had it when I was a kid, and it is an awkward vehicle because you can't really touch the panels or anything with your hands. They're always out. But I just like the concept of it. And having this thing is really weird. The original vintage one is extremely heavy because you had a ripcord. Those ripcord cars and toys from the 80s were all pretty fun. Like this was no exception. I think I broke the rubber band on mine almost immediately, and then you couldn't really put a figure on it to launch it or whatever. It had a thick, black tire underneath it. This one does not. It's just a very, hollow piece of plastic. These two tabs here are from the box. They have those plastic twist things where you twist it and the vehicle pops out. So that's what those are all about on the bottom. But yeah, he looks sharp. I have no idea what this separate head is from. That must be, I'm guessing that's like a first appearance comic thing or maybe cartoon thing. I never researched it, and I'm sure I saw the cartoons when I was a kid, but that was forever ago. So, but yeah, let's pop that other head on real quick. And it is just this little tab here. Then you take the head, snaps on, and there you must have a animated or comic version of that. That's very interesting. I really like it. It's very different. And I actually plan on making this not Wondar, but Kaldar, is that his name? Kaldar, the guy with the Viking helmet. I'm going to make this his vehicle when I eventually do some shots with it. This video will use Mekaneck just because he's a character that comes with it, but I really want to do some shots with that Viking looking character. I think it's Keldar, isn't it? Koldar? Yeah, let's get Mekaneck in the Road Ripper. So yeah, there he is. He looks good. Yeah, the thing I do like about this version is you can actually put his feet right on the foot pedals or whatever. The old one, the old school one, he could never really get his butt to sit down very well. His feet never really sat on the foot part. But yeah, it looks cool. I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this vehicle. They've done a pretty good job of giving us some awesome vehicles. The Land Shark and all the other vehicles we've got. It would be nice to get battle ramps. I'm sure we will sooner or later. But yeah, they've just done a great job giving us, random different vehicles. I do want to compare this to the old one real quick, so let's do that. Yeah, there they are. Obviously, the vintage is much. It looks like it's darker. Yeah, it's definitely darker. The stickers are all good. It looks like they're more filled out on the new one than the old one. But again, yeah, Mekaneck not being able to sit his legs properly on there kind of always bothered me as a kid. And he's always kind of looking up. Even the new one kind of looks up a little bit. I may have to play with the head of whoever's driving it and try to pop it off or something to get the right look on him. But yeah, the vintage one is he sits so much farther back. His butt doesn't touch a seat. Maybe it would if I had the rubber band still, but yeah, that one was kind of cooler because you had the zip, it had the I can't remember what they're called now, but yeah, you stuck a thing in there in the back and pulled it, and then a rubber wheel, and this thing could really get some speed on it and stuff. Yeah, good to finally get Mekaneck. Good to finally get Road Ripper, Ground Ripper, whatever you want to call him. Before we go, let's do a few shots with him. Let's get a setup going. Okay, so this shot turned out really cool. I had an idea of doing this just kind of from this angle, and then trying to figure out who I was going to put in back, somebody flying or something, and then I realized I haven't used Roton since I've had him. So I broke him out. He's actually sitting on Wind Raider's stand. And then when I take the picture, I'll actually kind of lower the camera low enough to where you won't see the stand. I don't like stands in my pictures. But yeah, having that stand is pretty invaluable to getting some life out of a flying vehicle like that. You can tilt it and do all sorts of stuff instead of just flying it flat and straight. And then I took some blast effects actually from Ultra Magnus. No, not Ultra Magnus. Prime. Rodimus Prime. I just bought a Rodimus Prime, and he came with a bunch of effects, so I took those and kind of attached those to Roton just to give some kind of blast effects. If you'll notice, Road Ripper has those ground effects below it to make it look like he's going fast, and then just filling out the rest of the background with rocks, trees, stuff like that to give it a real woods look to it with Mekaneck on the run. And yeah, extending his head out too. Did I complain about how we only had one neck extension? I find that ridiculous. He's Mekaneck. It actually seems like it's shorter than the original. I should check that, but they should have given us like 2 more extensions for that neck at least. Like just being able to go more than a couple feet. We've seen in the cartoons where he'll go 20 feet or whatever. I wish we had that. That would have been much cooler. And then the worst part is the way it attaches. It has a blue collar on it. That's part of the actual mechanical neck. So you can't go out and buy 2 more of these, sell Mekaneck without his neck and the Road Ripper, whatever they're calling it, separately. You have to, you can't just pop one of those on there. I'm hoping somebody on Etsy, I buy stuff on Etsy for customs. I'm hoping whoever that person is eventually, offers a couple more of those. Because I would buy, if he made a few of them for, I don't know, whatever price, I'd buy 2 minimum, just to get some real extension out of Mekaneck. So, but yeah, great picture. Very pleased with it. Let's go on to another one. All right, guys, we have this picture is kind of like moved on to the next step where, Roton's catching up with, Road Ripper and actually sawing the back of it as he's trying to get away. I retracted, Mekaneck's head just to kind of give him a different look, but yeah, just kind of have him going through the woods, almost through like a canyon to try to get away from Triclops and Roton. If you look on the right, Roton's actually hitting the rocks on the right too, and there's a fact you probably won't see it very well just because of the background being as orange as it is. But it still makes for a cool effect. Yeah, I'm very happy with how these pictures turned out. I did not expect them to turn out this good and this fun. Those effects really make this picture. So let's go on to one more. All right, so the final shot for this, Road Ripper, whatever the heck they're calling it, and Mekaneck is just this Mekaneck and He-Man walking through the canyon, and Mekaneck seeing something and extending his head out to see, hearing something, seeing something, and extending his neck out to see what's going on, to investigate, and he kind of knows something bad's about to happen. And the Snake Men are waiting for him. So another opportunity to get these guys in, which is always great. Yeah, definitely a good week for Masters of the Universe. So anyways, guys, hit the like and subscribe button. As I said at the beginning of the video, check out my playlist of all my He-Man shots, my Masters of the Universe shots. And also check out the link in the description for my Instagram and Facebook page. And we'll see you guys at the next video. Bye now.